are here in basically the pouring rain to look at yet another vintage card collection. We're in New Jersey, and this collection is going to contain graded cards as well as ungraded. But it runs the gamut from Mantle to Ruth to Namath to Bench. So come along with me for the ride and let's see what they have. I didn't know what to expect upon arriving at Margot's house. I didn't know if the stuff would be all over the place, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I was very appreciative of the way that everything was organized and laid out for us very neatly on the tables for us to evaluate, appraise, and ultimately make an offer on at her house. Margot is, I'm going to start with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through the graded cards, check them off.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you know when I've completed that.
Yeah.
Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I started the evaluation with graded cards. The collection included football greats like Lance Allworth, Don Maynard, Jack Kemp, George Blanda, and Terry Bradshaw.
Make it look like a television of the time. So some people love the 1955 Bowman set because of that, and others hate it because like that brown, eventually after you see hundreds of cards, it kind of gets on you. But I think it's kind of cool and nostalgic.
It was fun to see some oversized cards like the Sinella Babe Ruths, an autographed Mickey Mantle, and a Sandy Koufax signed postcard, as well as some exhibit cards from the 1960s featuring the Statbacks. Inside the shoeboxes, there were a handful of ungraded cards in screw-down holders, and it had key cards like 1955 Topps Sandy Koufax rookie, a 55 Topps Hank Aaron, a Teddy Ballgame, and a Jackie Robinson. There were also some miscellaneous cards like Jim Brown rookie cards, a 1954 Red Heart Dog Food Mickey Mantle, and a few Nolan Ryan rookie cards. So it was really, really hard to see some of the vintage cards I was looking at recently in this collection, and the lighting was very poor. So I used my Mr. Minty trading card magnifier to not only see the corners and edges a little bit more clearly, but to provide me more light to see that in a very tough situation.
So these cards literally came in packages of dog food. So it just goes to show you how immersed baseball cards was with American culture in the 1950s. Yeah, you can see the creasing on the edge, so it's definitely going to be VG, but it's got a great eye appeal. It's interesting to me how cards have changed on pricing. So of the three key cards in a 57 Topps football set, these are two of them. The third key card is the Johnny Unitas. Well, this card is the most expensive, the Bart Starr, and yet the Raymond Berry's in the screw case, and this is in the top load. So this is actually from a place called Teletrade, which used to run auctions like decades ago. So it shows you how many years this collector must have been collecting for. So I can certainly appreciate that. Got to give Topps a lot of credit for this set because, you know, basketball was not very popular, and this was really only the second mainstream set of basketball cards Topps had ever made. And the first one was 12 years earlier in 1957, you know, the year of Bill Russell's rookie and Bob Cousy. And what's so interesting to me is they waited 12 years. Obviously, the NBA was getting more popular, but they totally went against the grain. And for the first time ever in basketball card history, they made really tall cards. So thus the name Tall Boys. And I couldn't imagine being like a 10 or an 11-year-old kid, like my son's age, going to the store thinking you're gonna get a regular size card. And you're like, whoa, like, do these cards grow? Like, what's going on? So kind of interesting, right? you know the story about this card?
I don't know.
So this card was short printed for the 1959 Fleer Ted Williams set. It's known as Ted Signs.
The reason why it's difficult to find is because Bucky Harris appears on the card with Ted Williams, and Bucky Harris was under exclusive contract with Topps. So Fleer, after having produced the card for just a little bit of time, had to pull it from production early, therefore creating the scarcity on card 68.
I don't see any missing cards, but you're the expert, so...
Great, so I'll check.
Yeah, you check, but that's, yeah. I mean, some of them are good, some are just a cut line,
Sure.
you know, it's just, yeah. But that's...
He's got a mantle. You know, we all want our vintage baseball cards to be in like mint or gem mint condition. But to me, there really is something special when you go through someone's binder and you're fairly certain like they're the cards they collected as a kid. They put blood and sweat and tears and God knows how much of their milk money into this. So yes, I do prefer to have mint condition vintage cards, but there is something very nostalgic and like homey about handling someone's set or collection that they collected as a child. And the reason why I think that is because I can see some of the other cards, you know, he understood condition. But these seem similar to 57. So like maybe did he buy a whole new 58? You know, we don't know. But that's kind of the fun of like trying to guess.
Yeah.
So, Margot, we've completed your evaluation. And to be clear, right, you were kind enough to work with my team before we came. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the different groups so you kind of understand how I came up with the evaluation of the offer. So now, I have the rest. And the rest, of course, you can ask me any questions you have. I took diligent notes, and I'm going to tell you what I think everything else is worth that wasn't on those four groups that we just described.
Yeah.
So basically, Margot, it's effectively everything that we looked at today that wasn't on your list originally.
Yeah.
So this includes loose cards, sets, near sets, the programs at the end. So I think that this group is worth $31,750, and we would pay 60% for it because it's ungraded, it's a lot of work. So we would pay $19,050. So if you wanted to know what our total offer is, if you give me 1 second. The total that we can pay for your collection is $52,325, and that includes everything. So I wanted to find out if you have any questions for me on any of the stuff I went through.
No, I'm overwhelmed. This is really nice. Yeah.
Good. I just wanted to make sure,
Yeah.
you know, because you see, we went through everything very carefully. Clearly, it took longer than we all thought, but I believe that we did a very diligent job figuring out what you have.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have any questions for me, then if you would like, we would pay you $52,325. If you would like to do that deal, great. And if not, please tell me what you'd like to do.
No, this is fine.
Great. Well, we appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I just sold a whole collection of from my husband, George Paul Sedia, who died in 2021, to Just Collect. A good friend of his emailed me saying, just go to Just Collect and they will take care of you. And I must say they took care of me and of his collection. Leighton was a very nice man. and direct, and I felt comfortable right away. Actually, we had a real good time going through George's collection. His collection was 50 years old. He started as a very young child collecting baseball and a lot of football cards. And what I didn't know was that a lot of his collections, his sets were almost finished or finished. And that was very surprising. He had a lot of rare cards, I would say. And he also had cards from Teletrade and eBay and Digest. The magazine, he would always look for auctions there. He was collecting up till his death. Okay, thank you very much, Leighton and the people from Just Collect. It was a very good journey. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Leighton from Just Collect, and we've just finished a really hard day at work here in northern New Jersey. But it was all worth it because we spent a bunch of money buying an incredible vintage card collection that literally spanned from Ruth and Garrick and Mantle all the way up to Namath and Bradshaw, with some hockey for our friends north of the border as well. And some really cool like 50s and 60s yearbooks, World Series programs, and lots of other good stuff. So thanks so much for tuning in, and make sure you follow us so that you can see the next treasure hunting adventure that we go on.